What's good? You're listening to Culture Quest, where we ask the question, why are we like this? On this podcast, we explore culture, but culture that's specific to us as Bahamians, us as Black people, Caribbean people, all of that. I'm MCK, and I'm here with the homie from time, Jay, and we're going to talk all things us today. Shout out to the Solid Network for letting us come through. And first thing first, we might ask yourself, what made these dudes qualified to talk about culture? And I gotta tell you, I could tell if your mango is sweet, the mango you're selling sweet from like a mile away. I could also tell exactly what neighborhood you teeth that from just by the texture of the mango. So
that's crazy. You official Bahamian. Well,
I really Bahamian.
I solidify my Bahamianness because I get at least two uncles who younger than me.
You do have like two younger uncles. That kind of tripped me up.
Exactly. So like that ain't nothing more Bahamian than that. And plus my granddaddy had outside children. So
okay, we ought to get into that. Today this episode is brought to you by one family, the official third place drunken group of the Bahamas.
I'm glad you read that.
No, all right. I be playing. Like the day we legit talking about family. It's just one aspect of who we are. Definitely a lot to unpack when you're talking about the Bahamian family dynamic. And I guess I'll just start off with like, who's your people with?
That's a loaded question. Like who your people is, because someone might be Miss Margaret from Managua, but it's like who really is your people?
I love like how that's like the Bahamian ancestry.com. It's like who your people is, but like that's
yep.
You can tell me, I used the Forbes them from Auckland. I don't know Forbes from Auckland, but I used the Forbes them from Auckland, or I used the McKinney from Cat Island or whatever. I love like that we just know what that means, one shot, like who your people is.
Exactly. All you need is like your last name and an island, and they better tell you your whole history. Yeah, your mom used to get gas when she was pregnant with you, and like all exactly. Of that. Just from who your people is, where they from.
You think that's a lost art? You think like that becoming lost? Like, because I know it's the OGs who will be like, you'll tell them, oh yeah, it's a McKinney neighbor. McKinney from your daddy used to sell crack on Ferguson Road. Like, yeah, that's my daddy, the one who sell crack on Ferguson Road. And like they just know who you are from that one statement. You feel like that's a loss. I feel like we can know that when we get a little older.
No, but I feel like as family WhatsApp group numbers increase, we just losing our heritage, but so it's like the matriarchs and the patriarchs who could give us that backstory and that breakdown on where the rules and what part of Exuma they from and who used to run. That's dying out, but
yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like technology.
In the WhatsApp group, then.
Yeah, technology definitely playing is part in ruining us. I think, especially like for me, Bahamian culture is very much like a oral pause culture where we sort of pass down information like in person amongst ourselves, like through language and stuff like that, right? Like, and then like you have these WhatsApp groups now that just sort of acting as these bridges in between all of this stuff. For me, like y'all know, anybody who know me personally know I don't touch WhatsApp. I've never been on WhatsApp in my life. I am anti WhatsApp. I've never been about that life. I'm not in any family group chats, so I avoid all them really bad graphics, which your mommy is sending you. But yeah, I definitely think like you losing that, like that's just a little touch of like oh, I know who your people is. He's a Ferguson, and I know what I mean. I definitely, you can tell me your last name is anything. I can't help you. You gotta give me more information.
That's about it. And plus, it's like I ain't know the islands, so it ain't like I can identify that once I hear the rule.
Yeah.
Okay, Freeport East End or none of that. Nah. All right. I definitely.
To be honest, I only been a couple family islands. There might have been about 4 or 5 family islands, maybe 4.
And, yeah, I probably that same way.
We gotta do better, but so I definitely gotta help you when it comes to that outer island thing. I don't even know the difference between Freeport and Grand Bahama, so I don't know if anybody knows the difference.
But I would get straight into it, and I would start with flicking it.
I hit me.
Wait, flicking a stop. Just forwarding or posting any type of dumb news in the WhatsApp group. That's my one flicking a. I ain't going on a rant right now. That's flicking
For
a. Like,
family, right?
yeah, like for family, like stop forwarding anything in these family groups. That's the first thing. One, stop making the family group like the friggin' um the whole the family crest and all that. Like it ain't that serious. If someone leave the family group, like flick it, like don't make it a big deal.
Yeah, look, people have like the family crest in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, but then like if you leave the group, it's like, oh my god, how could, like you just with
I'm
your
just
heritage.
curious what the crest is. Like what the crest is like a chick Johnny just like that. Like
I can't tell you where they find our
good for
crest
you.
from, but it's like
That's a
flicking it like
business idea. Business idea, people. The Amen family crest. I want for free.
I don't know. That's flicking a. Stop making these groups so important. Whereas if you leave the group, like but it is only your last name.
Yeah.
That's my flicking a from the jump.
What else you got? That's all you got for family?
Oh, for flicking a. Oh.
Hey, give him a bonus one.
Stop inviting me to funerals that I don't know if they're family or not. That's another
That's
one.
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like like I know that's our second cousin on my granddaddy's side who used to smoke dope with Uncle Roger and them, but I don't know them. Don't invite me to the funeral. I
Yeah.
going. We ain't not close.
I've been
Like
to two funerals. No, like I missed my. I remember one time I missed my great grandfather funeral. Actually, it happened like someone else I knew from like church. They had died. They shared the same death anniversary, and their funerals was the same day, and I opted to go to that person I actually knew. Right, their funeral versus my great great, and it's like everyone in the lineage was to the other one. But for me, it's like funerals in itself weird too. Like funerals to me weird. Like kind of like this for y'all. This ain't for the person dead. Like there you go. But yeah, definitely like I'm going to Sister Shirley May funeral. Like I meet her once when I was 3.5 months.
Exactly. When you were still in diapers and now they want you go to the funeral and feeling bad because you ain't gone. Another flicking, eh? Stop making these funerals the friggin' the last straw when it comes to the little piece we're keeping the family together, dog. Like why the funeral gotta break up the family? Like why the funeral gotta break up the family? Not the death. So and so my day and
it's the funeral. It's the any sort of tension or conflict now is a different story. Like we could be cool and I could send you that meme in the family group, but if it come down to like who get to decide what piece of wood the coffin, if it's mahogany or whatever, like that's a different story. Yeah, like it
all
is
hell be breaking
interesting.
loose, bro.
Definitely, yeah, that's definitely the thing.
That's you get any flicking ears to add to this for family?
I think you do a pretty good job. That's a good that's a good start right there. But I wanted to talk about parenting, right? Like there's so much aspects of family. You got the distant relatives, which is I think is a whole different topic, right? Like um I know for me personally, like my cousins, like when you get older, cousins don't mean nothing no more. Even it's like godparents, like you know godparents and don't really mean nothing. I know for me, but I know that people are like remain close to their cousin. But personally speaking, you have like the distant relatives, and then you got the annoying stuff that people do. You got like the outside kids dynamic. But I definitely want to touch on parenting. Like that's something everyone. Some people don't have mothers. Some people don't have fathers. But um, everyone has a parent or parental figure, and I feel like we can't talk about the family dynamic without talking about like punishment and parenting. Now I realized like I never asked you this. You ever used to get beaten?
I had to be him.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get beaten. You don't get me beaten. Like you used to get beaten.
I used to get beaten, but at a certain age, it's like my mommy working all day. She too tired. She ain't beat. Like
Right.
she too tired. But if we trying to go deep and woke, you used to get abused. Like is beating abuse or like what we talking about? Because I never used
Beaten
to.
abuse.
I
I
never used
definitely
to.
think. Mm-hmm.
What you going? I never used to get beaten per se. I probably get beaten like one or few times, but I used to get
Mm-hmm.
riled. So
Yeah,
that was more so my beating, like the rowing.
yeah. My thing is like, rowing can be abused too. Like, depending on how that's done. Like, you have them being just be like, the situation there disproportionate to the rowing.
Yeah,
Like you miss a knock over a cup and it's like, oh, you don't be nothing in life, you little piece of garbage. It's like it's good. It's like it's just a cup, right? Like so that like there's possibility for like even like people who say, oh, I don't hit my kids or whatever, I don't beat my children, but they custom like a
the
dirty
powder.
sailor,
Yeah.
like that's abuse. And I definitely think that's a version of beating. That's abuse too. But I definitely used to get beaten, bro. Like I probably the poster child for getting beaten. I was even a bad kid. But I got beat with every piece of device you could think of, every variety, butt naked, outside, upside down, like any way you could think of.
Upside down.
I got beaten. And I think there's a way to do it, like
Mm.
in love or whatever. But there's definitely like if you ask me if I'd beat my kid, probably not. Like, because my biggest thing with punishment, being a
Mm.
punishment, is like when you getting beaten for stuff that don't make sense, or you getting beaten for stuff that you don't understand exactly what you did wrong.
Mm.
Because like if the point of punishment is to correct
The action.
behavior or whatever, it's like I should kind of understand what they're doing. Like, but it's just the staggered. And I tell you, don't do that. Yeah, but it's like why don't do that? Like,
I feel
like
like
you
I
know
have a
what I
flashback just now. Yeah.
mean? Like PTSD, but like why don't do that, right? So for me, it's
Yeah.
like it's the intention, and I definitely think there's a version of beating like a little bit too much,
Yeah.
and
I feel like the
they think
family
closed
that
fists is a no go.
Fox.
Yeah,
And social services is listening to this, so just know we on your side. But yeah, I feel like the family dynamic as far as parenting is definitely changing because you see a lot of persons saying, or they moving away from beating their kids or reprimanding their kids like that. So I feel like
hmm
as we grow and as time change, parenting styles evolve and change in way. You know,
yeah.
even
So
as
so
far
you
as
wouldn't hit your kid, you wouldn't beat your kid.
well, I don't have kids right now, so but I don't feel like I would. I feel like I try to talk to them and communicate and see how best that could work. I don't want to say, okay, um, yeah, going in there and little man get yeah, pay off. But then
Yeah.
I don't know because it's like um my brother-in-law, he was there enough whereas he could have reprimanded us. So it's
Mm.
like it wasn't like, oh nigga, you just show up, you can't say nothing to me. He was there practically my whole life. So what he used to do is he never beat, but he would make us hold out our hand and spike us.
Yeah.
Now mind you, being a child, like that used to hurt because this man spanking my hand, like
Yeah.
that kind of hurt. But it wasn't
That
ever
concrete
too
block
much.
hands.
Yeah, so it wasn't never too much where it's like, nah, bro, we got to get somebody on the phone. But it was enough where it's like, okay, this is bad, and I feel some type of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would be, and if I do, like, I don't feel like it could be extreme, like people's elbow, like dropping
Yeah.
people's elbow on them. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
definitely think there's a way to do it. Like for me, spanking, the distinction between spanking and beating,
Mm,
I think that's important. I don't think nothing wrong with a spank. Like I think it's information for the child to like, yo, you behaving poorly. Don't do that thing again. But like, first of all, like beating with a stick, I think like no, do not do that. Like I got beaten with like stick and thing like that, and like these flat pieces of wood. Like no, this is
you got
like
to go get your one switch.
no. It was like there was like one designated switch though. There was like a designated switch that
I
used
used
to
to keep
get
it.
beaten with. It was tucked away somewhere, but when we find that, let me just say it for the record, we completely hit that stick like that. We threw that stick in the bush. Maybe
God
if you was
damn.
wondering where the stick was, is in the bush. We threw the stick in the bush when we found it because there was
Mm.
one designated stick, but it was like in hindsight, you know, you didn't even know stick. Like I'm not like I really. like a animal or something like that. Like you don't need to hit me with a stick to get the point across. Like belt, I get belt. I think belt is to me like if you're choosing your weapon in the game, like the belt is the thing that's okay to use. But if you're using like a stick or anything physical like that, or anything like heavy like that is problematic. Yeah, but anything like with a stick, like belt is cool, but anything like with a stick, I think like that need to be like some cutoff points, and I definitely think there's a certain point where it become, basically speaking, violent. You shouldn't be violent with your kids.
Yeah, like it's counterproductive. But I'm gonna ask. You made a comment about what is a parent.
Mm-hmm. That's
I
what
asked if you
man.
wanted to get in.
Yeah, that's deep. I don't know, like what is a parent? I think that's a good question to ask or to put up there. Like I feel like someone who um guides you and instructs you, um, someone that nurtures you and teaches you and looks after you and take care of you in a way that's like, clearly guiding you. Like, because I'm talking about like friends or nothing, they guiding you, they putting you on. Um, and it's, to me, like a certain degree of consistency too. Like, they're like, I don't know, like that one uncle you had when you were 7, and then you never see him again. But like someone that's consistently been a figure in your life, I guess that would be somewhat like what I would call a parent. Like, what you think a parent is?
I think it for me it works like the uh a daddy and not a father. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can assume the role by nature, the rules of nature. Like okay, as my your sperm is in my creation, so because of that role, then you are obviously my daddy or what's not. But to be different context or what's not. I mean, I guess it's what it is. So literally, a parent would be the person that, but figuratively, a parent would be someone that's there to raise, facilitate growth as a person and a child. So a lot of
Right.
people help create the children. I feel like that's a big thing and found think about.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Cause like I like that analogy you put with the father versus the daddy, and someone that's sort of um, biologically related to
Yeah.
you, but nothing else. Which actually brings me to my tell them I said that, right.
Mm.
And I want to bring up this point that I believe that family is a construct, right? Like family in and of itself is a construct that we sort of abide by, right? Like um you ever had like people like, oh, you can't do that to his family now. You can't cut this person off or whatever. But I kind of abide by the idea that like everything is based on relationship. For instance, um, you can not know your father at all. Like you could have never known your father. You have a father. Your father exists. You never knew him. He's biologically your father. He's related to you and all that stuff, but you don't have a relationship with him. So what sort of makes him different from the stranger on the street? Like your uncle is a stranger just with uncle in the front of his name most of the time. You can have a good relationship with your cousins and your family, but like the idea that like you should do certain things for someone because of the construct of family is like it's kind of flawed. Like
Yeah.
it was my uncle, but like I never had one single conversation with you, like ever. Like you don't know me, I don't know you, and but we pretend like you know this person because there's Auntie Thelma or whatever, and it's like you don't know this person.
Yeah. So yeah. So that leaves the question like, what is family? Tell them I said that, but what is family?
Yeah, family is. I don't know. I don't think I'm the authority to say like, yo, this is what family is, but I think every relationship based on individual. Every relationship is individual, and I feel like as you get older, you realize that more. Like even with parents and things like that. Like you watch these movies where like the person mommy calling and they hang up the phone and you're like, well, you can hang up on your mommy, but as you get older, I can understand you can hang up on your mommy. I can understand you can hang up on on your dad or whatever. It's like every relationship is individual, and invest in if you don't invest in a relationship with your parents, just like if you don't invest in a relationship with like someone romantically or whatever, eventually the relationship could end up being shallow, and then like when it shit the fan, when life get really rough, those relationships could become tense and stuff like that. And you'll realize like, this person don't know me, you don't know me. Um, but I think the thing that blocks us from that is like, oh, this mommy. So mommy could always get a pass, even if she behaves poorly or even if she don't speak to me in the way I want to be spoken to or whatever. And I think that's a problem. I think that's toxic, and um, every relationship should be held to like a certain standard of like, is this toxic? Is it working? But I think family is that one thing, especially in the Bahamian culture, that gets the pass all the time, and I think that's something to be thought about. Maybe something we should reconsider.
Like we could add that to the letter dad column because there's a lot. As Bahamians, such a high regard or high magnitude, but when you look at things, it is a relationship, and if this relationship being solid, then why am I being forced to maintain this relationship? Participate if like this detrimental to my mental health, this detrimental to me.
Exactly.
So it's like no, let we understand the importance. Let it dead. The fact that family is the end all, be all. You can't never go against them.
Yeah, for sure. I think at the end of the day, family is beautiful, and if you have that sort of situation where y'all connected and y'all have that dope relationship, I think that's one of the problems we're wrong with the society and the world and everything is like not having that connection. But pretending that you have it and you don't, it ain't no better. And that's what I am. I'm not gonna pretend. Me and my uncle close with me. I don't know. I don't know this dude at all. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I do. And I think if we all take stock and like, do I know my Grammy? Has my Grammy ever asked me a question? Or Grammy's another there's a whole lot of categories. Grammys definitely is get passed, but people have this idea that old people are supposed to get passed, but I beg to differ. Like I have this thing where if I see like old white people, I actually just look at them a little sideways because like you probably call someone a nigga before in your life. But like people don't think like that. Like people, like it was normal back then to call people niggas and they're like, oh, you using the wrong bathroom, nigga. Like it was more normal back then to do those things. So I don't look at old people in the same way either. Like I hold on to a certain standard too. But yeah, relationships we just have to get to know each other, even if he was cousin, even if he was uncle, even if he was auntie. Like that's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess we can wrap up this episode by I want to ask one last thing. What is that toxic Bahamian family trait that you think needs to end? Like this thing, like we carry this out like a tradition.
Telling telling the whole family your business, like in family,
Yeah, no
like
boundaries.
that's super toxic because about what I got going on. I want all my aunties them to know. Oh, child, I hear you. Yeah, let go. Don't worry about it. I praying for you.
Yeah.
Like so now you know the whole Zion Baptist Michael.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like,
my personal favorite is when it come to them in a dream and they dream about it, but it's really my mommy totally was happy what happened. Like, that's my personal favorite. I had a dream. You lose your job. Like you had a dream. Like I lose my job. So yeah, definitely. Not that boundary of knowing where to draw the line. where to draw the line in relationships. Yeah, that's definitely a toxic trait, and then we might have to do a part two. Um, like, because you had the outside. We ain't touch on the outside judging thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like we got to do a part two because there's so much to
do a
down
part two
and talk about.
Between the outside children thing and then like not actually spending time with your children, like that's something I want touch on. So maybe we circle back to this on the next episode of Culture Quest. We appreciate y'all listening, checking in. Let us know what you think is the most toxic um, family trait, and if you agree or disagree with the idea of family being a construct. Like, is this just a made up thing, or should we hold family in this high regard, or should it be to each his own? Like I gotta have a personal relationship with every person in my family, or should we just love each other as family? I don't know. Y'all let me know that. I have my own way of thinking. Let us know. Interact with us, follow us, and until next time, link up.
Link up.